Joe, this is just brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
And as you said there, it is a real celebration of young dads.
Yeah.
Now, why did you think it was important to tell these brilliant stories?
Look, we talk about young dads and absent dads in kids' lives all the time, you know, but we never look at the reason or why maybe some of them dads are not in their kids' lives. And I just wanted to look into it. We met some amazing, inspiring young dads who, you know, are doing incredible jobs and with their children, and you see them in public and people look at them a certain way because they're young dads, they have a certain stereotype to them. But instead of that, we should be celebrating these young dads, the dads that are in their kids' lives, that are affectionate, that are consistent. And I don't feel like we celebrate young dads enough. We're so quick to knock them down. But the ones that are doing great jobs, I feel like we should be celebrating them a little bit more. And that's what this was all about, celebrating young dads and the importance of having young dads and dads in their kids' lives, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you've got some great young men, as you say. Wyatt, I want to pick up on specifically, who became a dad at 17 and really wants to be a positive role model to his son.
I mean, look, Wyatt was one of the most inspiring young men because he told us about his backstory and it is horrific, you know. He had a terrible upbringing. He didn't really have a relationship with his mum and dad, and he's trying his best to break that vicious circle. And even though he had a baby at 17, he's hands-on, he's changing nappies, he's doing school runs, he's amazing. And, you know, not enough light is shone on the positive dads out there. And we're too keen and we're so quick to jump on the bad dads out there. And I just think that, you know, we've got to look at the deeper reason and the reason why a lot of dads are not in their kids' lives. And is it because there's not enough support out there for them? And that's what we sort of looked into.
Yeah, you are right. It's an area that hasn't been looked at all before. And, of course, the experience made you then reflect on becoming a dad at a relatively young age yourself.
Yeah, so, like, I sort of looked at myself, and I was 25 when I had my first child, and I thought, how prepared was I? And I wasn't. I didn't know how to change a nappy. I didn't know how hot the bottle should be. I remember when the midwife gave me the baby, I felt it was like a little china glass. I didn't want to break him. Yet my partner at the time was like chucking the baby around and being so confident with it, and I just didn't have that. And if you're not taught how to be a dad and you haven't got a dad, you didn't grow up with a dad to teach you how to be a dad. How can you be a dad if there's no... You don't know, you've not learnt this behaviour, have you?
Yeah, I mean, Larry, I presume this is something you might be able to relate to. You became a dad for the first time at 21.
Yeah, the thing is that what I've discovered over the years is that unless you've been fathered, you can't father.
Yeah.
My father had never been fathered, and it's very likely his father hadn't been fathered before him. And so by the time it got to me, I was being dealt with by somebody who just didn't know what the responsibility was. He did his best, but I had, you know, no proper relationship with him. He was, you know, it was a transactional thing. You got love in return for whatever he wanted. And you know, it's a terrible situation. And as Joe said, these poor boys, if you've no example, what are you going to do? Where are you going to get the example?
I mean, for myself personally, I lost my dad when I was 11. And I've really struggled with my masculinity, who I am as an adult, who I am as a dad, because all of this stuff I didn't learn. It's all learnt behaviour, and I wasn't there to learn it. He wasn't there to teach it. So there's got to be places for these young dads to go to find some support. And a lot of the time when we spoke to these young dads, they felt isolated, they felt like they was on their own. So it's about getting these young dads together, celebrating them. There's so many negative role models out there for young men out there that are being celebrated and being sort of publicised in the media. But these are the ones that we should be following. These are the ones that we should putting up on a pedestal and going, this is an example of how young dads should be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Really inspiring stuff. And you can watch Joe SWASH Forgotten Young Dads tonight at 8 o'clock on BBC Three and iPlayer. And it will also be on tomorrow at the same time on BBC One.
That's brilliant.